Deep in the heart of Africa lies a land where tradition and nature perfectly intertwine. Tanzania, home to some of the most ancient tribes on Earth, where customs passed down for centuries still shape daily life. Here, wealth and a man's status are often determined by the number of cattle he owns. Men keep multiple wives in exchange for cows as dowries, and women choose partners through sensual ritual dances. But Tanzania is more than just its people. It's a land of extremes, from snow-capped volcanoes rising over scorching savannahs to an eerie lake that turns animals into haunting statues. Join us as we uncover the wildest country in Africa. Introduction to Tanzania. Tanzania is a land of ancient history, rich culture, and breathtaking landscapes. It is one of the oldest places on Earth, where humans have lived for millions of years. Scientists have discovered fossils and footprints in the Olduvai Gorge, showing that early humans once walked these lands. This makes Tanzania a special place in understanding where we all come from. The name Tanzania comes from two regions that united to form the country, Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Tanganyika means sail in the wilderness, while Zanzibar comes from a word meaning black coast. Today, Tanzania is home to over 60 million people, with more than 120 different ethnic groups, each with its language, traditions, and way of life. One of the most well-known tribes in Tanzania is the Maasai. They are famous for their tall, strong warriors who once hunted lions as a test of bravery. Their wealth is measured in cows, and the more cows a man owns, the more wives he can have. Then there is the Hadza, one of the last true hunter-gatherer tribes in the world. They do not farm or keep animals, but survive by hunting with bows and arrows and gathering wild fruits and honey. Their way of life has not changed for thousands of years. Tanzania is also known for its incredible nature. It has the largest lake in Africa, Lake Victoria, and the deepest lake on the continent, Lake Tanganyika. Another lake, Lake Natron, is both beautiful and deadly. Its waters have high levels of minerals that can turn animals into eerie, stone-like figures if they die in it. One of the most breathtaking sights in Tanzania is the Serengeti National Park. Every year, millions of wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles move across its plains in search of fresh grass. This event, called the Great Migration, is one of the most dramatic wildlife spectacles in the world. Along the way, these animals must cross rivers filled with hungry crocodiles and face predators like lions and cheetahs. Another natural wonder in Tanzania is Mount Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa. Unlike other peaks, it stands alone, rising high above the plains. Thousands of people travel from around the world to climb it, passing through rainforests, rocky landscapes, and even ice fields before reaching the summit. Tanzania is not only famous for its wildlife, but also for its ancient trade history. Over 1,000 years ago, merchants from Persia, India, and Arabia sailed to the Swahili coast, bringing goods like spices, silk, and ceramics in exchange for gold, ivory, and slaves. The city of Kilwa became one of the richest trading centers in East Africa. Today, you can still find the ruins of this once powerful city. From its deep history to its incredible landscapes and cultures, Tanzania offers a window into both the past and present. It is a land where ancient traditions live alongside modern life, making it one of the most unique places in the world. Just how big is the land they cover? Geography and historical formation. Tanzania sits at the heart of East Africa, stretching from the palm-lined shores of the Indian Ocean to the towering peaks of Mount Kilimanjaro. Covering nearly 947,300 square kilometers, it is one of the largest countries on the continent. Its landscape is as varied as its history, with dense forests, wide savannas, volcanic highlands, and three of Africa's largest lakes, Victoria, Tanganyika, and Malawi, forming natural borders with neighboring countries. The country's name reflects its unique origins. It was born from the union of two territories, Tanganyika, the mainland region, and Zanzibar, an island off the coast. Both areas had distinct cultures and colonial histories before joining together in 1964 to form a single nation. While Tanganyika had been under German and later British rule, Zanzibar had a long history as a trading hub influenced by Arab, Persian, and European merchants. This blend of backgrounds continues to shape Tanzania's diverse identity today. Tanzania's geography is a story of contrasts. In the northeast, Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, stands at 5,895 meters, attracting climbers from around the world. Not far from its slopes, the Great Rift Valley carves through the landscape, home to lakes like Natron and Manyara, as well as the famous Ngorongoro crater, a natural wildlife haven. To the west, the deep waters of Lake Tanganyika stretch along the border with the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This lake is the second deepest in the world and one of the oldest, estimated to be millions of years old. The central part of the country is dominated by a vast plateau, covered in grasslands and woodlands. This region is home to the Serengeti, where millions of wildebeest and zebras migrate each year in search of fresh grazing land. To the south, the land transitions into the Selous Game Reserve, one of the largest protected wildlife areas in the world, rich with elephants, lions, and crocodiles. Tanzania's coastline, which spans over 1,400 kilometers, has long been a gateway for trade and cultural exchange. The warm waters of the Indian Ocean connect Tanzania to the Middle East, India, and beyond, influencing the food, architecture, and languages of coastal cities like Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. The islands of Pemba and Mafia, located just offshore, are known for their coral reefs and marine biodiversity, attracting divers and researchers alike. Rivers and lakes shape life in Tanzania. The Rufiji, the country's largest river, flows through the south, supporting agriculture and wildlife along its banks. The Pangani and Ruvu rivers provide water to the northern and central regions, while the mighty Nile has its origins in Lake Victoria, feeding into the longest river system in the world. Tanzania's land is not just a backdrop to its history, it has played an active role in shaping civilizations. These discoveries have helped scientists piece together the story of human evolution, reinforcing Tanzania's place as a cradle of humanity. From its highlands to its plains, from its lakes to its coastline, Tanzania's geography is a testament to the forces of nature and time. It is a land of great beauty and significance, where the past and present are deeply connected through the landscapes that define it. But beyond its landscapes and history, Tanzania's people and cultures shape its identity in extraordinary ways. Population and cultural diversity. Tanzania is home to over 60 million people, spread across bustling cities, remote villages, and ancient tribal lands. Unlike many African countries with dense urban centers, much of Tanzania remains open and sparsely populated. While Dar es Salaam, the largest city, is crowded with businesses and traffic, vast stretches of the countryside remain untouched, where nature and tradition still guide daily life. Most Tanzanians live in rural areas, though this has been changing. Over the years, more people have moved to cities in search of jobs, education, and better services. Dar es Salaam, the economic hub, is the most populated, while Dodoma, the official capital, is slowly growing as the government relocates offices there. Across the country, there are over 120 ethnic groups, each with its traditions, languages, and ways of life. The Sukuma, Nyamwezi, Chaga, and Haya are the largest, with over 1 million members each. The Sukuma people, known for their farming and fishing, live near Lake Victoria, while the Chaga, famous for their business skills and coffee farming, live on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro. Tanzania is one of the most linguistically diverse nations in Africa. More than 100 languages are spoken, representing all 4 major African language families: Bantu, Cushitic, Nilotic, and Khoisan. Swahili, however, unites the country. This Bantu language, with words borrowed from Arabic, Persian, and Portuguese, is spoken by nearly everyone. It serves as Tanzania's official language alongside English and is used in schools, government, and trade. In Swahili, time is measured differently. What most of the world calls 7 in the morning is 1 in Swahili time, as the clock starts counting from sunrise. While most of Tanzania's population is of African descent, there are also smaller communities of Asians, Arabs, and Europeans. Many of the Asian families, including Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims from India and Pakistan, have lived in Tanzania for generations, contributing to trade and business. The Arab influence is especially strong in Zanzibar, where the legacy of the centuries-old spice trade still lingers. A small number of Europeans, mostly of British descent, also call Tanzania home. Religious diversity is another defining feature of Tanzania. Islam and Christianity are the most widely practiced faiths, with roughly equal numbers of followers. The coastal regions, particularly Zanzibar, have a strong Muslim presence, while inland areas are more Christian. Despite these differences, religious harmony has largely been maintained, with people of different faiths coexisting peacefully. Tanzania's population is young. Nearly half of its people are under 15 years old. This growing youth population presents both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, a young workforce has the potential to drive economic growth. On the other, there is pressure to provide education, jobs, and healthcare for millions of children and young adults. Though Tanzania's people come from different backgrounds, their shared history, culture, and use of Swahili create a strong national identity. Whether in the city streets or the rural villages, Tanzania's diversity is not just about differences. It's about how millions of people live together, shaping the country's future. Let's explore the Maasai, a closer look at their fascinating way of life. The Maasai. More than 500 years ago, the Maasai people began a long journey from the Nile Valley, eventually settling in what is now Kenya and Tanzania. As they moved into the vast plains of the Great Rift Valley, they brought with them a deep-rooted culture built around cattle, survival, and strength. For centuries, the Maasai have been known as fearless warriors and skilled herders. Their entire way of life revolves around their cattle, which provide milk, meat, and even blood, a traditional source of nourishment. Owning many cows is a sign of wealth and status, and cattle are often used in marriage negotiations as dowry payments. A man's prosperity is not measured by money, but by how many cows he owns. Living in an environment full of dangers, the Maasai developed remarkable survival skills. The lands they call home are shared with some of Africa's most feared predators: lions, leopards, and hyenas. To protect their families and livestock, they built their villages, called maniatas, in circular formations surrounded by thorny fences. These barriers help keep wild animals out at night. Young boys begin their training as warriors early in life. They learn to herd cattle, track animals, and defend their community. In the past, part of their rite of passage into manhood involved hunting a lion, a dangerous test of bravery. Today, this tradition has changed to protect lion populations, but the respect for strength and courage remains. The Maasai live in a structured society divided by age groups. Young warriors, known as morans, undergo a series of rituals before they can become elders, who hold great wisdom and make important decisions for the community. Elders act as judges, advisors, and teachers, ensuring that traditions are passed down to each new generation. One of the most striking aspects of Maasai culture is their traditional dance, the adumu, often called the jumping dance. During ceremonies, young warriors gather in a circle and take turns leaping as high as they can, their bodies straight and strong. This dance is not just for entertainment. It is a way to showcase strength and endurance, qualities highly valued in their society. The Maasai's way of life has remained largely unchanged for generations, but modern challenges have begun to impact their traditions. Land pressures, climate change, and government policies restricting their movement have made it harder for them to maintain their nomadic lifestyle. Some Maasai have adapted by engaging in tourism and sharing their culture with visitors through dance, storytelling, and crafts. Others have pursued education while still holding on to their heritage. Despite these changes, the Maasai continue to be a symbol of resilience and cultural pride in East Africa. Like the Maasai, the Hadza hunters, one of the last true hunter-gatherer communities on Earth, live a fascinating life. The Hadza hunters. The Hadza people live near Lake Eyasi in Tanzania, in the heart of the Rift Valley. They are an incredibly unique group, as they have lived in this area for thousands of years with very little change to their way of life. The Hadza do not farm, build large settlements, or rely on animals for domestication like most other groups. Instead, they live by hunting and gathering, using bows and arrows and collecting wild fruits and honey. What makes the Hadza even more fascinating is their social structure. Unlike many societies, they do not have formal marriages. Instead, people form relationships based on compatibility without the constraints of ownership or jealousy. This flexibility is part of a larger pattern of equality within their community. Men and women share responsibilities, and there is no strict hierarchy that dictates who does what. Hunting plays a big role in Hadza's life. During the dry season, men work in pairs to hunt animals like impala, warthog, and baboons. They are very skilled, often waiting by watering holes at night, using poisoned arrows to catch animals that come to drink. It's a delicate process, relying on patience and knowledge of the land. The Hadza also hunt a variety of birds and small creatures. Fishing is part of their tradition too, although not as common as hunting. One of the most incredible aspects of their hunting is their partnership with the greater honey-guide bird. This bird helps the Hadza locate bee nests, guiding them to the hidden hives where the men harvest honey. The relationship between the Hadza and the honey guide is a unique example of mutualism, where both species benefit from each other. The Hadza receives the sweet honey, while the honey guide feeds on the wax left behind. Honey is an essential part of the Hadza diet. It provides a dense source of energy, making up about 10 to 20% of their daily calories. The Hadza's reliance on honey also showcases their deep understanding of nature and their ability to adapt their diet to the environment around them. Though their way of life remains rooted in ancient traditions, the Hadza face significant challenges today. Encroachment from neighboring groups, such as the Datuga herders, threatens their land and access to food sources. Furthermore, tourism has both helped and hurt the Hadza. While it brings attention to their culture, much of the money generated goes to outside interests rather than the Hadza themselves. Sadly, this has led to alcohol-related problems among the community. Despite these struggles, the Hadza continue to live in a way that offers a glimpse into humanity's past, preserving a lifestyle that many other societies have long abandoned. The Hadza are one of the most fascinating examples of how humans once lived, and their resilience in holding on to their ancient ways provides us with a window into the distant past. Their survival and continued existence remind us of the adaptability and resourcefulness that humans have always had. The Hadza are one of the most fascinating examples of how humans once lived, and their resilience in holding on to their ancient ways provides us with a window into the distant past. Their survival and continued existence remind us of the adaptability and resourcefulness that humans have always had. There is much to learn from a group that has kept their ancient practices alive for so long, especially when it comes to their deep connection to nature and their simple way of life. We now turn our attention to one of the most intriguing and mysterious places in Tanzania: Lake Natron. Lake Natron, located in the Arusha region of Tanzania, is not your typical serene, picturesque body of water. It is, in fact, a lake that is as beautiful as it is dangerous. Lying at the base of the active volcano, Oldoinyo Lengai, this unique lake holds a secret that has captivated both scientists and photographers alike. It's known for its highly alkaline waters, which have a pH level that is higher than most natural bodies of water, around 10.5. The water is so caustic that it can burn the skin and eyes of animals that aren't adapted to it. Yet, despite its harshness, Lake Natron plays a vital role in the ecosystem, providing a haven for flamingos during their breeding season. The lake is extremely hot, with temperatures reaching over 40 degrees Celsius. Its high alkalinity comes from the sodium carbonate and other minerals flowing into it from surrounding hills. This gives the lake a unique, striking red hue, caused by salt-loving microorganisms that thrive in these extreme conditions. These microorganisms not only make the lake look like something out of a science fiction story, but they also serve an important ecological function, contributing to the lake's role in supporting flamingo populations. One of the most extraordinary features of Lake Natron is its ability to petrify animals. This happens when animals, like flamingos, get too close to the water. The animals fall in, and the high alkalinity preserves their bodies, coating them in chalky sodium carbonate deposits. These preserved bodies look as though they've been turned into stone statues. It's a chilling, yet fascinating sight, with the remains of animals lining the shores, frozen in time, as if they were captured in a moment of death. Photographers like Nick Brandt have famously captured these haunting images, showcasing this eerie phenomenon. Despite its terrifying nature, Lake Natron is a vital breeding ground for the lesser flamingo. More than 2 million of these birds flock to the lake each year to lay their eggs and raise their young. The flamingos build their nests on small islands that form in the lake during the dry season. These islands are safe from predators due to the corrosive properties of the water, which make it impossible for most predators to survive in the lake's environment. For the flamingos, this is a rare refuge where they can thrive and multiply. The lake itself, while located in a remote area of Tanzania, faces threats that could impact its delicate balance. A proposed hydroelectric power plant on the nearby Ngiro River could disrupt the flow of water into the lake, potentially threatening the flamingo population and the unique ecosystem that exists around it. With the lake being a key part of the northern safari circuit, any significant changes to this fragile environment would have a far-reaching impact on the region's biodiversity. Lake Natron's name comes from the mineral natron, a type of sodium carbonate that is abundant in the lake's waters. This mineral has been used throughout history, notably in ancient Egypt, for mummification. Despite its eerie reputation, Lake Natron is a true natural wonder, both a beautiful and dangerous part of the world, supporting a unique range of life while posing challenges to anyone who dares to approach it. Lake Natron may resemble a scene from a mystery novel, but it is very much alive, filled with secrets and stories of survival. This rare ecosystem faces challenges, and its future will depend on how it adapts. The lake's role as a sanctuary for flamingos is crucial, and its ability to remain a haven will be shaped by the balance it maintains. Only time will reveal what lies ahead. Life and death in the Serengeti. The Serengeti's life and death struggle isn't just about survival, but also the rhythm of nature. The Serengeti is a place where life and death constantly dance together, showing the true power of nature's cycle. In northern Tanzania, Serengeti National Park covers over 1.5 million hectares of open savanna, and it's known around the world for one of the most amazing wildlife events, the Great Migration. Every year, millions of wildebeests, zebras and gazelles make their long journey across the plains in search of fresh grass and water. Along the way, they face many dangers, including hungry lions, cheetahs, and even crocodiles waiting for an opportunity. It's a life-or-death journey that tests the strength and instincts of these animals. But what makes this migration so incredible is how it has been happening for centuries, with each animal playing its part in keeping the ecosystem balanced. Each year, around 2 million wildebeests, hundreds of thousands of zebras, and thousands of gazelles travel in a loop, crossing the Serengeti and heading into Kenya's Maasai Mara. This migration is the largest of its kind in the world, and it's vital for the survival of many species in the area. The Serengeti is not just special because of the migration, but also because it's home to a huge number of animals. The park supports millions of herbivores like wildebeests, gazelles, and zebras. In turn, these animals provide food for predators like lions, cheetahs, and hyenas. This constant flow of life and death is what keeps the ecosystem healthy. The herbivores help maintain the land by grazing, which allows fresh grass to grow. Meanwhile, the predators help keep the herbivore populations in check. What makes this ecosystem even more amazing is how everything works together. The volcanic soils in the Serengeti, combined with its unique weather patterns, make it a place where plants thrive. This creates the perfect environment for the animals that call it home. The migration is essential for keeping the land healthy, and the land supports the animals in return. It's a delicate but powerful system. However, the Serengeti faces challenges. One major threat is the idea of building roads and infrastructure through the park. This could split the land and make it harder for animals to migrate. Another problem is water. The Mara River is the only year-round water source in the park, and during dry seasons, it doesn't always provide enough for everyone. This could make it harder for animals to survive, especially during droughts. To protect the Serengeti, there are plans to extend the park's boundaries, to connect it with nearby areas, and give animals more access to water. There's also talk of making the surrounding reserves part of the park's protection efforts, which would help ensure the whole ecosystem stays intact. We now shift our focus to something just as deeply rooted in the heart of Tanzania. Tanzania's living heritage. Tanzania is a place where natural beauty meets human kindness, and it stands out not only for its stunning landscapes, but also for its welcoming and generous people. When you visit Tanzania, you're not just seeing the sights, you're connecting with the soul of the country. Tanzanians are known for their hospitality, and it's easy to feel at home in their presence. The warmth of their personalities, combined with their exotic features, is a result of a rich blend of cultures that have lived in harmony for centuries. One of the most unique experiences you can have in Tanzania is engaging with the locals. Whether it's learning about their traditions, enjoying a meal together, or simply chatting, you gain a deeper understanding of the country's customs and way of life. The genuine kindness and openness you encounter make Tanzania a place that leaves a lasting impression on visitors. A beautiful example of this connection to culture is the courtship dance known as ngoma, practiced by tribes such as the Hehe and Nyamwezi. This dance is not just about movement, it's a deeply cultural expression of passion, beauty, and social interaction. It's a way for young people to express romantic interest, and it's all done through a combination of sensual body movements, rhythmic chanting, and the powerful beats of drums. The ngoma dance is special because it offers a peek into the emotional world of Tanzanian communities. During these dances, young people use their bodies and voices to communicate messages that range from flirtation to romantic intent. It's a chance for individuals to show off their charisma, strength, and confidence, qualities that are highly valued within their communities. At the same time, the dance acts as a powerful social bonding moment where the energy of youth is celebrated and shared. The beauty of this tradition is that while it's rooted in the past, it's also evolving with modern times. In an increasingly globalized world, the ngoma dance holds on to its ancient significance, while also embracing the universal emotions of attraction and connection. For visitors, watching or even joining in, the dance offers an unforgettable experience. It's a way to see the true spirit of Tanzanian life, where physical beauty, emotional expression, and cultural pride are all intertwined. For Tanzanians, the ngoma dance isn't just a ritual, it's a celebration of life itself. It's a space where the past and the present meet, where old customs are honored, and where people can express the most human of emotions. The dance speaks to the heartbeat of Tanzania, a nation full of life, beauty, and a deep respect for both the old and the new. In Tanzania, the culture isn't something to just observe, it's something to experience. The dances, the music, and the warm smiles of the people all come together to make this country a truly special place. As Tanzania's culture flourishes, so do its remarkable natural wonders that continue to shape its identity. Natural monuments and resources. Tanzania is home to some of the most breathtaking landscapes on the planet, and among them, Mount Kilimanjaro stands as a symbol of Africa's grandeur. Known as the Roof of Africa, this dormant volcano is the highest point on the continent. Its snow-covered summit is a surprising sight in the hot African savanna. The mountain's ability to support a glacier at its peak is a testament to the resilience of nature. When adventurers climb Kilimanjaro, they embark on a journey through diverse ecosystems, from tropical rainforests to alpine landscapes, offering a unique experience like no other. Another fascinating spot in Tanzania is the Ngorongoro crater. This volcanic caldera formed millions of years ago after a massive volcano collapsed. is now one of the richest wildlife destinations on Earth. The vast plains of the crater are home to Africa's iconic Big Five: lions, elephants, rhinos, buffalo, and leopards. In this protected environment, these magnificent animals roam freely, making it a paradise for wildlife lovers. Ngorongoro also showcases a rare connection between humans and nature. The Maasai people graze their cattle alongside the wild animals, demonstrating a harmonious coexistence that few places in the world can offer. In stark contrast to Lake Natron is Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake and the second largest freshwater lake in the world. This massive body of water is a vital resource for millions of people in the surrounding countries of Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. The lake is home to diverse aquatic life, including the Nile tilapia, which sustains local economies through fishing. Beyond its ecological importance, Lake Victoria plays a key role in the region's culture and economy. Despite modern challenges, such as pollution and invasive species threatening its delicate ecosystem, the lake remains a symbol of life and sustenance for the communities that depend on it. These natural treasures show how Tanzania's landscapes are not only beautiful, but also deeply connected to the people and the way they live. Whether it's the towering peak of Kilimanjaro, the rich wildlife of Ngorongoro, the petrifying waters of Lake Natron, or the life-giving waters of Lake Victoria, Tanzania's natural monuments are as diverse and unique as the country itself. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.